Coach, you said earlier in the week, going to be a good old-fashioned football game, and that's exactly what it was. It turned on a couple of big plays early, and then just good defense and field position and a couple turnovers. Maybe exactly the way you drew it up.
Not exactly the way. Exactly, it really went how we had hoped it would go. The wind impacted it a little bit more strategically during the course of the game. We were really kind of coming in to probably throw it a little bit more, but the wind really impacted that. But procedurally, we were much more improved on offense, and it was a chippy, kind of a hard game. We hadn't played in 2 weeks. They're coming off a monster emotional victory, so it was a little bit kind of everybody getting their feet and getting in rhythm early on. But it was a fun game for sure.
You hadn't played in 2 weeks, and you lost at Akron. And yet to come out and do this, do you feel like this is kind of a statement about what this program is, the way you played today? You held, for the first time in 8 years, a MAC team without a touchdown. So,
well, to me, I want to sit here and say yes, but I have watched enough film in this conference that it's just going to be like this every week. Every week there is no, well, we won this one, so we turned the corner. Next week we're going to have a brutal matchup, and it's very even coaching, very even personnel. And you just have to play really well every week. And we're learning that. There's a reason why MACtion's crazy. Is everybody's good, and it's you got to earn it every week.
Go ahead, Coach. The run game, obviously a huge part of today's game. What did you see from your quarterbacks and your running backs, both of which got touches? What did you see from the run game?
I thought Coach Chapin did a tremendous job in the sense that, like I said, we came into the game really wanting to kind of spread the ball and punch the ball around the field and take some play action shots down the field. And the wind really didn't allow us to do that. So for him to be able to be as creative as he was, maneuver the ball all over the field, run the ball with the quarterbacks, the tailbacks, put the ball to the perimeter with the receivers, some counter stuff. And again, especially when it was where it gets really hard and where Chapin is and the offense was so impressive today, is once you get up by a couple scores, everyone in the stadium knows you're going to run the ball to run out clock. So it becomes much more difficult in those 4-minute offenses to operate. So for those guys to be able to continue, and you saw like 3 backs come in and do a great job, and a bunch of fullbacks and tight ends, and it was just really neat to watch those guys execute.
Yeah, that second quarter, a huge momentum swing. Can you talk me through kind of what it looked like from your perspective, especially Kwiatkowski's interception? What did that do for the team?
Yeah, so if you look in the second quarter right before halftime, possession 2, defense went 3 and out. Then possession 3, Kwiatkowski had a pick. Possession 4, they had a 3 and out. Possession 5, they had a 3 and out, and then stopped a fake punt. And then that was an unbelievable set of 4 series in a row for us in the second quarter. And then offensively, we had a 1-play touchdown. We were able to move the ball quite a bit. We did have those 2 false start penalties. We went up 14-3, and then got another turnover and made it 17-3. So there's and where the offense really helped us out was I made a very dumb decision right before halftime. And for those guys to convert that 3rd down right before halftime, where we were able to run out the clock and not have to punt it, I mean, essentially Chapin bailed me out from my first down idea, which was idiotic, to those guys then like really, really saved my butt, because if we punt into the wind, those guys, the kick line is basically from the 40-45. So they really bailed me out there, and Angel did a great job. So
then after halftime, how did you guys keep the momentum? What was the message to the team to finish the game out?
So I showed in meetings this week the 1985 Hagler-Hearns fight, the first round, called the War. It's one of the best fights ever, certainly one of the best rounds in boxing history, where these dudes just come out, and I mean, it's like two honey badgers fighting each other, like a mongoose and a badger. We watched that this week and talked about that, the importance of starting fast and coming out swinging and fighting. And that was the only thing we watched for the pregame speech this morning. We went in there, watched the first round of that fight again, and then came here, where it's the importance. So is every time we were coming out from the sideline, a new round was starting, and we had to come out like that. And I thought the coaches did a great job. Like, we switched up some leadership structure this week. Nairi Biggins it was his responsibility to get the team ready to go this week, and I cannot, again, put into words how good of a job he did, obviously.
Greg and I are the only people in this room to have seen that fight live. Remembering that fight, but it was great.
It was awesome. Ever. We watched that one, and then we watched in UFC Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald, when Rob, who I went to high school with, played football with in high school, Rob ended up just beating the guy's whole basically the front half of his head into the backside of his head, and that's how he ended up winning. So it was the Hagler-Hearns is how we got to start, and Rob just stood there at the end and won in the 5th round, 11-2. So we watched that a lot this week. So that was the point of emphasis.
You're an expectant father. I know what the situation was today, but in a way, you were kind of expecting this out of your team too. You were expecting to see this kind of performance maybe from day one, and you feel like that this was maybe your most complete performance of the season. Certainly on defense, you got to consider that, don't you?
Oh, I mean, by far, all 3 phases, not even close. And I thought this was by far the game we coached the best. As far not, and I don't mean the plan going in. We always have a good plan going in. But I mean, during the game, controlling emotions. We won every emotional 50-50 situation where there was so many personal fouls. I mean, the personal fouls they got were on monster gains. Those were, astronomical penalties. And we won every one of those 50-50, which I think talks to our discipline, our maturity, our leadership. I was really, really happy with that. But there's no doubt that was by far in all 3 phases the best we have played all year.
Let's go back for a second. I kind of touched on this with you before about coming out of that Akron game. How bad did you need to come out and really put a good performance in for this football team, for the confidence of this football team and where you want to go?
I mean, the coaching here's just, it's strange because you play those Power 4 games, which are tough ones to win. So when you're trying to become bowl eligible, you really have, it's not quite the same schedule as everybody else has. So your margin of error is so small. That's why we were so incredibly frustrated, not because Akron did a phenomenal job and beat us last week, but that was a game that we felt like we were in position. We can win those games, and like I said, we're not moral victory people anymore.
Right.
Like, we get in a game against somebody in our league, our expectation is we need to play well enough to win. So. Yeah.
Can we touch back on the defense for a second? Heldman with 2 sacks today. Kwiatkowski with the pick that really turned the momentum of the entire game, and you never gave it up. Those are your senior leaders out there. Those are the kind of plays you expect from guys like that.
Yeah, it's not only those guys, but it's everywhere else. It's you're starting to see J.J. Douglas, who has started camp as a tight end and is now playing DN and playing nose guard and pass rush situations for the first time in his life, and he's playing great. Maddox Blackwell and Eli Gordon, Caleb Spann in the back end, like once, and those 3 underneath linebackers. I know Kwiatkowski gets Dakota Cochran and Levi Brown are as good of football players as anyone running around in this league, and those guys do such a good job of being complete linebackers where they cover the passes, they make windows get smaller, they're really smart situationally, they're as smart as they are talented. And again, I think Cronin those guys play such good team defense, especially today. They executed really well.
Anything else? Noah, you got something?
Yeah, Coach. I think with this 2-quarterback system, it's kind of been expected that Angel Flores comes in on some of these option plays, and Joe Lavis is your more traditional drop-back passer. What did you see out of Joe Lavis this week in particular to let him run as wild as he did, especially in the first half?
He runs really well. We just don't want to have to make him do it all the time. So he runs pretty good. Did you tempo your first step at all today?
A little bit.
A little bit, liar. No, he does a great job. He's super athletic, but he's really valuable. And as good as he is throwing it, he's 10 times as valuable as a leader and as a person. I mean, it's hard for us to function without Joe being around our players. So we don't want to run him into the ground 30 carries and get him beat up and then all of a sudden expect him to go, rip the ball all over the place. I mean, you want to talk about the play that split the game open. The 3rd down where we threw it 3 consecutive plays in a row and we went incomplete on first down, incomplete on second down. Joe stands in there, hangs in the pocket, comes off his first and second read, throws an absolute dagger right down to the middle of the field. Like, that's a veteran for real dude right there. Like, we love that guy. So he can do everything. We just don't want to have to make him run it so much.
His QBR today was about 200.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that for the whole year. Your guy drops back, it's probably getting completed, and he never turns it over. It's a pretty good football player.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.